Dear students, in last video we have seen definition of information retrieval system and what is the architecture of information retrieval system, what are the different components available in it, and what are the applications of it. Now we will enter into the more details of IRS in upcoming videos. So in this video, we will learn a vector space model, which is in short known as a VSM. Now you know that in information retrieval system, when user is posing a query, out of a huge collection of documents, the relevant document should be made available to user. So how you will decide that a particular document is relevant as answer to the user query. So for that purpose, you have to find out the relevance of particular document. Means you have to rank the document. So using vectors, such type of ranking is possible. So how we are going to do it, that we will see here. Vector space model, as I told you, which is in short known as VSM, is a way of representing document through the words that they contain. Means here we are using words as tokens in vector space model. Okay, and it is a very simple technique, a standard technique which will help us to retrieve the information. And using these vectors, we are able to take the decision whether the document is relevant to the query or not. So using VSM only decision making is possible. Now, you know that each document is formed with the collection of words. Okay. Now that word may appear only once or many times. So the number of times the word is appearing is known as word frequency. So we will develop such word frequency table. So this table is called as a vector. So vector is nothing but in memory, it will be stored using the data structure array. Okay. Now vocabulary is built from all the words in all the documents in the system. Means you have to construct such tables. You have to construct such vectors for all the words and for all the documents in the system. Means for each document, you have to use a vector. Each document will be represented using a vector. Okay. Now, let us see it. How we are going to do it. Now, suppose there is a document A and which is containing only these five words. What are those words? A dog and a cat. Now, in these five words, how many different type of words we are having? Only four. Okay. Now, how many times each of these four word is appeared in the document? A is appeared twice, so its frequency will be 2. Dog is appeared only once, its frequency is 1. Similarly, and cat is appeared only once, so its frequency is 1. In document B, I'm having only two words, both are different. That's why each will get the frequency of 1, 1. So this is what your frequency table. But this is not a vector. For vector, you have to arrange these words in alphabetical order. So how you are doing it? So these words I'm arranging in alphabetical order. Okay. So a dog and a cat, it is a document. But when I am arranging it in alphabetical order, I will get a and cat, dog and frog. And then I will write on the frequency of a corresponding word below it. So using frequency table, I'm developing the vector. So this is known as vector for the corresponding document. Okay. So whenever a document is given to you, which is containing some set of the words, you should be able to write down the vector to it. Okay. Now in the same way, a frog, which is containing only a and frog. So only one is given to these two words and the remaining all words will be 0. So its vector will be 1, 000 and 1. Now, suppose a query is given to you using a single word, that is the dog. Now, where dog is present in this table at the fourth location. So, my query will be represented with the vector previous three zeros only at the fourth location 1, and then again in the last location 0. Similarly, you should be able to represent the query frog. How we can represent? You tell me. All these will be 0, and only at last location you will have the 1. Now suppose I'm having the query dog and frog. Then how I can represent it? This will be 1, frog will be 1, and will be 1. And remaining, these all will be 0. So my vector becomes 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. Okay. So now, how you are going to establish the link between a vector that is representing your document, a vector that is representing your query, using a measure that is known as similarity measure. So how similar document is to your query? That is obtained using similarity measure. So the relevance of document to a particular query is obtained using similarity measure. Now, which similarity measure we are going to use? The similarity measure that we are going to apply here is called as a cosine measure. So how you are going to calculate the cosine measure? Of course, using the vectors. Suppose I am having two vectors, d and d dash. Then what is the formula to find out the cosine measure? First, you get a vector product of d and d dash. Then divide it by its absolute value. Now, how to find out it? Okay. Now, you are having d and you are having d dash. Now, how will I will find out the vector product of it? Each I value means the value at the same position. Now, 2 is at I is equal to 0, and even the 0 at the I is equal to 0. So these values which are at the same index should be multiplied, and you have to find out the addition of all such multiplication, and this will give you the vector product. Now how I will find out the absolute value? Square root of squares of each value, and I will add it. Okay. So I will get the absolute value of d. I will get the absolute value of d dash. Now what will be my similarity measure? 1. That is the vector product of d and d dash divided by 1 into absolute value of your d dash. So my similarity measure is 0.378. So as an assignment, I'm giving you two different vectors, and you have to find out the similarity measure of these two vectors by applying above three formulas. Okay, you should be able to do it. Now, how you will rank your document using cosine measure? So the cosine measure, as we can see, the last statement in this slide, it will calculate the angle between the vectors. Okay, so how much angle is less? Based on that, the document and query are related to each other. How much angle is less, relevance is more. That you should understand. Okay. So user is entering a query. Query is compared to all the document using similarity measure. But how? First, you have to calculate the vector for the query. You have vector for each document available. Using these two vectors, find out the cosine measure. Cosine measure is defining you the angle between the vector space. If the angle is small, relevance is more. Then return such document. So how you are showing documents as an answer to your query in the decreasing order of the similarity means the document which is more relevant will be shown in the top level. Okay. And then with the document which is less relevant will be shown at the bottom level. Just like a Google, the more relevant page will be highlighted in the first place. Okay. So this is all about your vector space model in which you understood. First, you have to find out the frequency of the words, then develop a frequency table, arrange those words in alphabetical order and get the vector. Using vectors, find out the similarity measure, that is the cosine measure. And based on that cosine measure, decide how much that document is relevant to the query. I hope you understood VSM, that is a vector space model. Thank you.